let's talk a little bit more about getting outside your comfort zone, making some comparisons between the discomfort that you're feeling right now and the discomfort that you'll feel after you've stopped drinking, right? How you doing? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Today I wanted to just do a video on the comparisons between the discomfort that you're feeling right now, right before you've stopped drinking, while you're going through whatever it is you're going through, and what you're going to feel after you've stopped drinking, or we'll look at the discomfort that you'll feel in the long term if you don't quit drinking, right? So first of all, think about all the shit that's going down in your life now because of your habit, right? Because of this behavior of the drinking behavior. And you can use this for anything else, right? Whether it's smoking, any other habit that you want to get rid of in your life, right? Any habit that's causing you problems. You know, think about the discomfort that you're being caused through that habit, right? Think about the hangovers. Think about the money it's costing you. You know, how much money is coming out of your bank account every single week, right? Every single day. You know, I did a tot-up of myself and a friend of mine, and we reckoned that we were putting $1,000 across a pub counter, $1,000 between us every single week. You know, it was ridiculous. You know, we were spending an awful lot of money on booze, and not only the booze but the food that we were buying as well. No, I'm not sure about that. You know, we had a tot-up between myself and a mate of mine when I was drinking, while we were drinking in the pub, and we were grumpy about something that was happening in the pub and the way we were being treated and stuff, you know. And we worked it out. We were paying thousands and thousands across that pub counter every single year. I can't remember the exact figure now, but it was a lot of money, and it was all because of this habitual behavior. You know, this is what I did during the day, and this is what I did at night. You know, going into the pub and drinking, and you know, if I couldn't have a drink at home or in the pub, I'd have one at home. You know, I have one. That's a joke. Several. Anyway. Think about all these things. I mean, think about the time that you spend on the alcohol, on drinking the alcohol, on thinking about the alcohol, on planning for the drinking of alcohol, on actual drinking the alcohol, and then obviously the consequences of that drinking the day after, or the week after, the month after, the long-term consequences. Time is a big thing. I mean, when you ask somebody how many hours do they think that they've got in their lives, you know, most people come up with some ridiculous amount, you know, 500,000 or something like that. 27,000 hours is what the average person. You know, when you say to somebody, how many days have you got in your life? You know, time is a big thing. When you say to somebody, yeah, how many days do you think you've got in your life? You know, people come up with ridiculous figures, you know, 100,000 days, or 250,000 days, 500,000 days. You've got 27,000 days in the average lifespan, right? If you take your life as being, 75 years or something like that, it's around 27 point something hours. You know, it's not a long time when you look at it from that perspective. You know, every hour ticking by is just bringing you closer and closer to the inevitable, you know. So, you know, that should put the fucking fear of whatever into you, you know. That time is precious. You know, the amount of time that we waste on drinking alcohol is just unbelievable, you know. And for me, and I'm still trying to get out of these, some of the habits that I got into, you know, as a drinker. My old lifestyle, this is what I've always said, it's like, you know, the drink is just one part of the problem. You know, you've got a whole lifestyle that the drink is just one little part and you take that part out, you've got to fill up the gaps for that. But it starts to uncover other areas of your life then that are that you've got to deal with, that you don't like anymore, you know, that are not conducive to where you want to be and where you want to go in life, right? So, you know, I've got a lot of those things, you know. I'm watching too much television is one of those things that I really don't want to do anymore, you know. I mean, I love doing it, don't get me wrong, but I used to love drinking, you know. And when you think about the things from that time frame, you know, always brings me back to those kinds of things in my own life when I think about it and think, yeah, 27,000 hours, and you know, I've probably gone through 15,000 of those at least. So, you know, that's diminishing all the time. So, big time suck, you know, alcohol is. You know, and then you add a lot of the internal stuff, the psychological stuff to this. You know, you start losing respect for yourself, especially when you sort of realise that what you're doing to yourself, and you come to the conclusion that this is bad for you. And you start to see, well, you know, that self-respect, your own respect for yourself starts to decline, and you chip away at that every single time you think about quitting and you don't, and you know that quitting is the best outcome for you and will deliver you the most gains in your life, and you don't quit. You know, self-respect is a big thing. Respect of others is another thing. Trust is another thing. You know, think about all the areas of your life that cause you discomfort right now in this moment, right? And switch your attention to afterwards, and where your life is going to be if you do quit drinking, right? Where that person, who that person is going to be. That person is going to be different to the person that you are now, right? Very different. I mean, nearly every cell in your body changes every 7 years, is it? That you're a completely different person. You know, physically, you're not the same person as you were 7 years ago. There's not one cell or something like that, you know. I can't remember the exact figures, but mentally, psychologically, you're definitely going to be a different person. You know, when you step across that line and you make that decision to stop drinking, you push yourself down a different pathway, a completely different pathway. Once you refuse to, that's it, I'm not going back to that. You're not being held back. If you hold out hope that you can go back to the drinking, right? A lot of people do this. They get to 2 months or 3 months, 6 months, a year maybe down the road, right? I've heard of people, you know, going 5 years, and they start entertaining the notion that maybe they can moderate now, you know, maybe they can go backwards and they can take a sip, they can take the odd glass of, sure, one glass of champagne won't make a difference. And I agree, I don't think one glass of champagne makes a difference. It's not about the glass of champagne, it's about the mentality of the person who's drinking the champagne. You know, it's about you. If you think in that way that you're going to allow this poison to come back into your body and come back into your life and into your behavior, even if it's only in that small way, right? What does that say about you? You know, let's look at what it's going to be like for you if you don't quit drinking, you know. That discomfort that you've got now is going to be nothing compared to the discomfort that you're feeling, you know, the hangovers that you're feeling. You have to go through this. You have to quit. You cannot, you know, this is only going to get worse and worse and worse. The feelings of discomfort are going to get worse and worse and worse. And this is not something that is going to go away, right? This is an increasing discomfort that you're going to feel. The more you go into this, as I said before, you know, people who die from alcoholism don't just 1 minute, they're not 1 minute healthy and then the next minute they're dead, you know. This is declining health, right? Decreasing quality of life over years. Years. You know, not just fucking, doesn't happen overnight. You know, so are you willing to put your body through long-term horror, you know, long-term fucking misery, just because you don't want to go through the short-term discomfort and you want to have that little bit of instant gratification? You can't let go of your dummy, you know, just because you can't get away from and put up with this. You know, the hospitals are full of people. 80-85% of the people that are in hospital are there because they've caused this to themselves, because they couldn't stop doing what they were doing to themselves, eating badly, you know. You know, all these overweight people, it's because they're eating badly, it's because they're putting the stuff into their mouth one moment after another, right? And they're quite willing to keep going the way that they're going, keep putting on the pounds or maintaining the weight and putting up with all the consequences that that's going to cause them. Same with alcohol drinkers, same with smokers, you know. I've heard smokers who just kid themselves into believing, well, yeah, it's my choice, you know, I'm going to do what I want to do, it's my life. It is your life, you know, and never going to have an argument with me over that, you know. But do you think that little about your life? That you're willing to, you know, push yourself through all this, you know? I mean, you know, you have to make these comparisons. Think about exactly where you are now, all the consequences that are happening to you right now, right? And think about the consequences that are going to, you know, the things that are going to happen to you once you, if you carry on down this path, right? There is no other way around this. You know, if you don't stop drinking and if you carry on doing, you know, carry on down this pathway, then where do you expect it to turn out? You know, where do you think it's going to turn out? You know, do you hope in the back of your mind that it's not going to happen to you? That this is never going to happen to you? It's just not the way that life works. This is a drug, you know. Forget about thinking about it like your wine that you drink every night, right? Or the beer that you drink, or the whiskey, or whatever it is that you're drinking, right? Forget about that, right? Because that is not what it is that you're doing, right? That's just the sheep's pelt over the thing, right? Underneath that is the wolf, right? Right? This is the thing, it's the alcohol is there. That's the thing that's going to kill you, right? Slowly. Not like a wolf who'll grab a hold of you and he'll kill you very quickly, you know? Make sure that you're dead and stuff like that so you're not struggling anymore and he can eat and bring the food home to his mate and his cubs, right? You know, like, this is the wine and the beer, all that is just cover for the nastiness underneath it all. So forget about thinking about it like wine or beer, or, you know, think about it like a poison. You know, like every time you pick up that wine bottle, this is poison disguised as the alternative of, you know, it's like years ago there was a big scare going around, I think it was around Halloween, where there was a guy who was supposedly putting, it was either poison or ground up glass or something into the sweets that they were giving out at the doors, you know, and that some asshole was doing this. And it was a myth, you know, that nobody was really doing this, but it sent such a scare out to the neighbourhood that people kept in, not only in that neighbourhood, but, you know, for miles around, for cities around this area, they kept their children in. I mean, I can't remember the exact details, but it's the same thing, you know. It's like, you know, you have to look inside this and see the reality for what it is, you know. This is not, you know, the wine is not the what it's made out to be on the label, you know. It's all bollocks, it's marketing. That's to get you to drink it, you know. The same with the beer, you know, it's all marketing. Underneath it all is the poison. That's what you have to get this down to, that are you willing to carry on poisoning yourself and put up with the consequences of that poison, which is going to be your diminishing health, your diminishing bank account, your diminishing self-respect. These things are going to diminishing, get less and less and less and less until, who's going to be left? As I said earlier, you're going to change no matter what, right? You're not going to be the same person in 5 years' time as you are now, right? But you've got the choice, right? Who the person you are. You can carry on drinking, or you can stop drinking. The choice is always up to you. Addiction is about that. It's about personal choice. It's not about, there is no such thing as addiction outside of yourself. The alcohol cannot make you addicted to anything. It's you that makes yourself addicted because it's you that has to keep putting it in. Say, well, I can't help myself. You can help yourself. It's your thoughts. Everything is a thought. You grabbing down, reaching down and grabbing that glass of wine, glass of beer, that's your thought. It's your intention. You have to have the intention of doing that. You have to have, you've got to do it yourself. You can't, nobody can force you to do this, So, what is it you want to do? And then think about compare the discomfort of actually quitting drinking and what it's going to take you to go through, right? Now, I always say to people, look, a month, 2 months most, right, to put up with the discomfort, right? 2 months at most. And then by that time, 2 months, the habit's gone, it's still there. There's little recesses are still there. The habit itself is still there, but it's changed, right? Because the habit of drinking the alcohol is a behavior, right? The habit is embedded in the framework of your life, right? So once you change your life, then you change the habit, and the memories of this are still there. You still might be thinking, well, I want to have a drink. It might pop into your head every so often, but it's not the same thing at all. 2 months and you're changed. And the discomfort of those 2 months is not consistent, right? You don't go over that 2 months and it's like it goes along like this, and then you get to the 2 months and it goes poof, and the discomfort is gone. It's like this, it goes down, so it's gradual diminishing discomfort. The other way is like this, it's gradually increasing discomfort if you don't stop. So, which is the best option? Which is the most intelligent option to take? The gradual diminishing discomfort or the gradual increasing discomfort. That's what I'm saying, and sit there and think about this stuff, Go through this stuff in your own head. I mean, I can only ever go through it from my own personal perspective and talk to you about things from my personal perspective. And some of it you might get, some of it you might not get, some of it you might not understand. The only way you're going to truly understand any of this is by thinking about it from your own perspective, right? Hearing me saying it to you, now and tomorrow, you'll have forgotten what I'm talking about, right? You've forgotten about it altogether, I love sort of when I can see people going through certain things. That's why I'm trying to do this thing every day, with doing the videos every day for a year, because you see the consistency of me doing something. It might not be quitting drinking, right? But it's a difficult thing, right? This is consistency over a year, and I have to do this every single day, right? Over a year. Next year I'll try and think of something else. So if you've got any ideas about that, then I'd love to hear them. But what was I saying? So in reality, most people would rather, keep doing what they are doing, keep putting up with the discomfort that they're already facing, rather than putting up with a small bit of discomfort that's outside of their discomfort zone because of whatever fear, There's no such thing as fear in the outside world. There's no such thing as fear. It's all in your head. You fear the unknown, fear this. It's all thoughts. You control your thoughts at the end of the day. You control how you think. You control how you do. And like I say, if I show you something, I really like to show people these things. That's why I'm doing these. You know, that's why I'm doing these 365 videos, because I mean, I don't want to go back again and start drinking again just to show you what it's like for me to quit drinking. I've already done that, you know. You can watch my videos from the beginning and you can see week after week. I wish I'd have done daily videos back then, but I didn't. So, but you can see the progress, right? You go back and look at my videos from 3.5 years ago, and then look at these videos now and look at the different person that I am. Right? I couldn't give a shit about alcohol anymore, right? Except where it comes to teaching you how to quit drinking, right? How easy and simple this is, you know? It's not a fucking hard thing to do. It's difficult in the moment because you're having to go through it in the moment, right? But the only way that you're going to learn how to do this is to actually go through it and do it, you know? There's no other way, no other possibility of doing this rather than doing it. You know, regardless of what program you go through, you can go to AA, you can go to a rehab for a month, you can go to rehab for a year, right? You can go through the magical cure of Dr. Wonderful. You still have to do this in your head. You know, only you can do this. You have to do this. So, I mean, I hope that I'm making a difference in your mind, right? I hope that I'm getting through to you every video that you see. I hope you get something out of it, you know, even if it's some small progression towards where you want to be. That's my hope, right, for doing these videos. That's why I want to do them every day, because I think if I can do this every day, and I can, I've got a year's videos then that, you know, you can see my journey through a full year and see my thought processes as they're developing, and hopefully that one thing gets into your head and, as I say, moves you towards being that person, quitting that drinking, you know, or keeps you away from the alcohol that day, you know. And hopefully at the end of the year, then, you know, once you get past the year mark, right, and you've got all this knowledge in your head, and you know and you understand this from the point of view that it's not the alcohol that's the problem, it's you that's the problem, it's your thoughts that's the problem, it's your behaviours that's the problem, right? Alcohol is just an illusion, you know, it's a way of you escaping from reality. Once you get that through your head and you start to build on this, your strength, your self-respect, all this kind of stuff in your own head, right, then you will never go back to drinking, because, you know, you're taking away from yourself then. It's like, you know, chopping your own leg off, you know. You wouldn't do that. You know, you build yourself up to a point where you're saying, well, this is me, this is the new me. So you've got a choice now. You've got a choice of either going to the new you, which is doing the same thing as the old you did, right? Which is bringing you down a very fucking horrible, miserable, self-defeating path, right? One that is only going to lead you in one direction, and that's, you know, further and further into this as a drug addict, right? Down this path as a drug addict. Or you can choose to stop doing this, right? To take this drug out of your life, to take any drug out of your life, and to start building a life for yourself which, you know, involves you thinking about things and planning things out and building up new habits that are going to build, that are going to give you a lot of pleasure, long-term happiness, you know, not just this short-term instant gratification, yeah. So that's enough of this for now. Look, if you have any comments at all, leave a comment down below. If you have any questions, any suggestions, if you like the video, then give us a thumbs up for this video. Come on over to the website, sign up for the newsletter. There's a free course there on ways to relax and to chill out after you've stopped drinking. It's just a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff, you know, simple stuff, you know, might give you an idea of what to do in the future. Until next time, stay safe, keep the alcohol out of your mouth, keep the alcohol out of your brain, you know, push yourself towards the directions that you want to go, instead of, you know, trying to carry on going back to what you want to, what's gone before you, you know. At the end of the day, put up with the discomfort and compare that discomfort first of all about, you know, what's it like now for you, right? What's your life like now? What's your life going to be like in 2 years' time, or in 5 years' time, or in 10 years' time if you don't stop drinking? And compare the discomfort of all of that to the decreasing discomfort of you quitting drinking, right? Until next time, I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Good luck to you, onwards and upwards.